And okay, we are live. All right, what is up, everybody? Shawnee D Man here, and welcome to the channel. I have a special guest with me tonight. This is my best friend Jimmy the Chris Teague. Um,
Jimmy the Chris.
Jimmy the Chris. We so as a relaunch of my channel, I'm doing like different content and different things. So one of the things that I will be doing is probably once a week. I don't know. We probably have to discuss that at some point. But me and Jimmy will get together and we'll just talk Marvel content. The plan is tonight, if we're going to try to do this, I don't know how well it'll go, but we're going to try to rank all 22 Marvel movies. And if we have the time, we're going to get into Wandavision episode 9 predictions. If not, then you'll just have to wait for that one. But it is what it is. So, Jimmy, would you like to tell everybody on how we are going to be ranking our movies?
I was just going to do a tier list, S through F. S being like superb, super, and then A through F is pretty much self-explanatory. F being the worst.
Yeah,
I already have my.
I feel like some of our movies are going to be the same, and I honestly feel like we're gonna have something that probably going to be different because we've seen almost all of the Marvel movies together. I know there are a few that we haven't seen together. I think the mid to late, I would say probably phase 2 and on we saw together. I think phase 1 we didn't see together, but I think phase 2
probably everything after
the
Avengers.
Yeah, is what we saw. All right, so the way it's gonna work, I will just go down a list of movies randomly, and we each will give our ranking, and we'll just talk about things we liked about the movie, things we didn't like the movie. If we don't have anything to say, then we can just be like, all right, on to the next one. So the first one we are gonna talk about, or we're gonna rank, is, let me find it. I'm just scrolling through. Like I have a list. I'm just kind of just scrolling back and forth trying to decide. So, question. Yeah. We're probably gonna have that in. All right. So the first one is, all right. We're gonna rank Iron Man 2, which came out in 2010. So what was that? 2 years after? Yep, it was 2 years after the original Iron Man. So Iron Man 2, where would you rank that one?
Yeah. Oh man. See, I just recently watched Iron Man 2.
Oh, really?
Again. Yeah. You know, I think a lot of people hate on Iron Man 2.
Right.
And I mean, it's definitely it's going to be lower for me for sure, but
right.
I have to say that Justin Hammer is probably one of the best characters in that movie. He has the most interesting, I think, art. I think honestly that Whiplash shouldn't have even been in the movie. I feel like, I don't know, it didn't serve to the story at all. I mean, it would have been just as good. Well, it would have been a much better movie, I think, if Justin Hammer was like the only villain. And I mean, that what's cool was like he wasn't necessarily like evil. He just was so jealous of Tony that he would do literally anything to compete with him. And I think that's what made his character interesting.
All right, where would you rank it?
So, I'm gonna say D. Okay. Just like impulsively, I'm gonna say D.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
What about you?
I would also give it a D. It wasn't a letdown of a sequel, but I don't think it could match what Iron Man brought out for the MCU. It's just, like you said, Whiplash. was, I see, honestly, I liked Whiplash. I If the movie was just mainly about him, it would have been better. Justin Hammer was good. I did like his character. I either would have probably preferred him.
Hey, you're kind of
That better?
yeah. Well, hang on. You're kind of breaking up. I don't know if it's no. I got
Is that better?
it said. What's your connection?
It should be pretty good.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So, what were you
um.
saying? You just kept like breaking up.
Oh, okay. Is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Is that better? Um. But I think Justin Hammer would have been if he was the only villain, that would have been fine. If Whiplash was the only villain, that would have been fine. But I do like the character of Justin Hammer. I thought he was a pretty funny character in the movie.
Yeah.
Just
one of the funniest, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Honestly, out of all the movies, I mean, like I said, I just watched Iron Man 2, and I was literally like almost in tears laughing because that character is just hilarious.
I think I could probably understand why Marvel didn't do this, but I think I would have rather preferred maybe Titanium Man or Crimson Dynamo compared to Whiplash. But I can understand on why Marvel wouldn't want to do that, because you already had Obadiah Stane in the first one as Ironmonger, and then it would just been another,
Which that's another thing, like for like at the end of the movie, he's not even Whiplash. He might as well have been another like, because he's in the armor again. I mean, I think that's like a lot of people's complaints with the first two is that, well, not the first two. The first Iron Man's great.
Yeah.
But the second one is that he's just fighting an enemy that is a duplicate of himself, basically, again. And I mean, like, yeah, he had the whips, I think, but really,
see,
when you're in a giant suit of armor,
the first battle between Iron Man, Whiplash, and I think it was in Monaco in the movie was good, because I actually liked that.
It was pretty cool.
I actually liked that version of Whiplash. The Iron Man version of Whiplash was a cool idea, but I think I would have rather. I can understand on why you would need to give him a suit of armor, because it would have been him against Iron Man and War Machine. That would have been a little bit, a little bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, within the context of the story, it makes sense.
Yeah,
but
and even in the animated, was it Iron Man Armored Adventures or something like that? It came out on Nickelodeon a while back. The Whiplash in that TV series had a suit of armor, so I guess it's fun. But I think either Whiplash should have been the main villain, or Justin Hammer should have been the main villain. So but we both can agree that it's a D ranking.
D, okay, fair. All right, next.
All right, next one. Next one we have is Ant-Man, which came out in 2015. All right, where would you want to rank? You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You can go first. So
all right, that's fine. So I knew a little bit about Ant-Man from TV shows, but like after seeing the first one, I loved that man. I
felt like my limited can't talk. My knowledge was like very limited of Ant-Man.
Oh yeah, it was.
I definitely had to do some reading up before I saw the movie.
Yeah, the only time that I can remember seeing Ant-Man was in those animated Marvel Avengers movies. That was, I think, one of the first times I saw Ant-Man. And then he was in Avengers, Earth Mightiest Heroes, and things like that. But Paul Rudd as Scott Lang is a great hire for that role, and he's such a funny character, and I love it. Like, again, I was watching Parks and Rec, and I didn't even realize Paul Rudd was in that show until I was watching an episode.
Yeah. What is his name?
It's what was his name?
He's the son of
the
CEO of the candy bars. I can't think of the name. I can't either. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I was just like, I was like, oh my god, that's
Nutrion.
Yeah, I was like, that's Paul Rudd. I didn't realize that. So
yeah.
No, I would the plot I thought was good. The villain, Yellow
Bobby
Jacket.
Newport.
Yep, there it is, Bobby Newport.
That's it.
Yellow Jacket as the villain, I didn't care too much for it, and that's the thing. I don't know much about
little lackluster. Yeah,
he wasn't that great, and that's one of Marvel's, a little bit of their problem is that their villains aren't that great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Phase 3 villains are great, but the Phase 1 and 2 villains, well, some of the Phase 1 and 2 villains are pretty good, but I think but they're overshadowed by the Phase 3 villains, in my opinion. The only exception will probably be Loki, because he appears in all 3 phases. But other than that, I think Phase 3 villains overshadow the Phase 1 and 2 villains.
No, I get that. Like, if you honestly, I mean, I don't want to like step on any like DC cinematic universe fans, but like, I think that's so Marvel, if you notice, usually tends to focus more on the character development, and they put a lot more time into the heroes.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like DC usually focuses a little bit more. I mean, because both properties have great villains, but I feel like DC's villains are, I don't know, a little bit more. No, I don't want to say that, but I feel like they tend to usually focus more on, oh, we have this cool villain. Oh, we got the Joker.
But I think a good example of a good DC villain would be Black Manta from Aquaman with Jason Momoa.
Yeah,
I thought
he was great.
Yeah, that was it. I thought that was a good DC villain. What are the DC? Now the DC animated movies, usually their villains are probably a little bit better, but that's animation. But live action wise, I would say, villain wise for DC, Black Manta is, well, I would say he's up there along with, Joker, whether it's Heath Ledger's or Joaquin Phoenix's Joker or Jack Nicholson's Joker. DC usually tend to have their villains a bit better than Marvel's, but so Yellow Jacket was a little bit lackluster for me. I thought the plot was good.
Great heist movie. Honestly.
Oh yeah.
The last bit, the third act is definitely cool.
Yeah, the guy who plays was it Louise? I can't remember his name. He's funny. I mean, he was
just bag it up.
Yep,
just bag it up.
Bag it up. And then he just does the whole side story and everything. And then with the little hint at Spider-Man at the end of it was great, and it's just, I love it. So I would give,
when he's like, we got a guy that walks on the wall or crawls on.
Yep.
That was great. I remember seeing that. I think we were together.
Yeah, we saw that together. Like, yeah, we did. I would, for Ant-Man, I would probably. So here's what I feel like what's going to happen with these rankings. I feel like what's going to happen is there are not going to be as many bad movies compared to some of the ones that we're thinking.
I definitely have the first F.
I do too.
I
do too.
And when we get to it, I can't wait to rant about it.
I would give, because of the villain not being that great, I would give Ant-Man maybe a B-. It'll be on that. It'll
that's
be
what I
on.
was thinking.
It'll be on.
I was like,
yeah.
I want to say B, but then again, I don't want to say C because I feel like that's a little harsh. But
Right. Yeah.
I don't
Because
know, B minus.
yeah, because I also feel like seeing Ant-Man in action and him shrinking like that throughout the entire movie is really cool because it added a new aspect to Marvel that we hadn't seen just yet. So I would B minus, definitely B
Yeah,
minus.
yeah. Well, I'll set it in B right now. But
That's fair. Okay, I mean that's fair.
no, I think, yeah, definitely. Like, we hadn't seen any like powers like that in the
Yeah.
MCU
Yeah.
at that point. Like, we hadn't seen anything that I don't know. I feel like it was a lot more grounded up until that point.
Yeah.
What I can't remember. No, Doctor Strange came out after Ant-Man,
Yeah.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, and I feel like everything
yeah,
up
yeah,
in,
it did. Yeah, it did. Well, hold
like
on.
there were powers.
And like, Ant-Man came out before Doctor Strange, but Ant-Man also
Yeah.
came out after Avengers Age of Ultron also.
Okay.
So
Well, so we had seen kind of more like superpowers, like
yeah.
with Wanda and
Wanda though, talking about we'll
oh,
get into the
apparently
WandaVision. Yeah, we'll get into the WandaVision stuff if we have the
apparently
time.
Wanda's had
I
powers.
know that's it's interesting. We'll have to.
Which makes me wonder, like,
Yep.
did Quicksilver have powers?
Thought that too. If we have the time, people, we'll get into the WandaVision conversation. All right. So B minus for me, a B for you. All right. So what about the Incredible Hulk? Now this is the one that had Ed Norton in it. Then he got replaced by
the outlier.
Yeah. Which I don't know necessarily.
They kind of like try and push it away, like
yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. Is that they try to kind of push that particular Hulk out of not out of the MCU, but just kind of put him in the background and just have Mark Ruffalo's Hulk in the forefront of things. Okay, so what are your thoughts on the Incredible Hulk? It came out in 2008, so it was right along there with it came out after Iron Man 2 and just before Thor.
No, I think a lot of the reasoning for that, I mean, obviously mainly because they changed actors, but I think they changed actors because I think there was like some tension between like Edward Norton.
Yeah, I think there was like some money dispute and things like that going on.
So that's probably another reason why they kind of try and sweep it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I would have loved to see this Hulk in the MCU.
I mean, honestly, as a standalone Hulk movie, it doesn't get a lot of love, but I mean, I like it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people say that they like this version of the Hulk better, like the actual Hulk. I don't.
Really?
No. I mean, okay, so
is that because you've had several years of the Mark Ruffalo Hulk?
It's not just because of that. I will say, like, the characterization of the Hulk in Incredible Hulk is probably more accurate to what, like, Rage Hulk is, but I don't know. Okay, it's a little shallow, but I didn't like his design as much as I like to do. Well, I mean, obviously with CGI like advancing throughout the years, it's going to get better.
Right.
But I remember seeing the Avengers and thinking it was so cool that Hulk literally had Mark Ruffalo's face, but just like a monstrous, like grotesque version. Like, I thought that was really cool. His Hulk is a little bit more, up until he merges, but is a little bit more like, I would say, like animalistic, like a giant beast,
Right.
like almost like a gorilla or something.
Right.
Whereas uh Norton's Hulk was definitely a lot more in line with the comics, where like he's a savage, and yes, he's a beast, he's
Mhm.
brutal, but like there is a sort of like, I don't know, savage intelligence
Mhm.
almost. Like he's very confident in his movements, and he's not just, he's calculating almost a little bit more. Maybe I'm not right there, but I don't know. Uh, I do think though that as far as like a standalone Hulk movie, it was pretty good. I would honestly, I want to say C, but
Okay.
I might I might give it a D. I don't know,
Hmm.
just because of the fact that it's it is kind of like an outlier
Yeah.
in the MCU.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily like modern MCU is so different than it was in the early days,
Oh
and I
yeah.
think that it's almost too different to even fit in with the rest of the movies now. So I might want to like, I might bump that back down to a D.
Not to a D.
Yeah,
Um.
but I do think it's a good movie. I do
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it.
I think it's a good movie. I think for what it was at the time, um, it was a good movie. I actually I love the design of the Hulk in this movie. To be honest, I see. I like Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. So now, if you were to come, if
Yeah,
you could have Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner and Edward Norton's Hulk, that could be an interesting
yeah,
combination right there. Because it felt like Edward Norton's Bruce Banner wasn't as intelligent as Mark Ruffalo's Bruce
no,
Banner.
yeah.
I don't know. I
That's
don't know.
for sure.
I don't know why that was. I think maybe like obviously if Edward Norton had stayed on. Oh, hold on. I think if Edward Norton would have stayed on, then maybe it could have. I could have been wrong about that, but it just seems like Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner was a lot smarter, and they showed it off a lot more than what you saw in that individual Hulk film. But I
For
love the
sure.
battle between
Well, I mean,
but I love the battle between him and Abomination. Though I thought that was a really cool fight.
yes,
I
it
thought
was a great
that's.
fight.
I think there are certain parts in the movie that kind of saves the movie from being not that great.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but I
I
think
mean,
you know,
it's honestly kind of sad that Betty isn't in the MCU
yeah, you're
anymore.
right. You're right. You were completely right about that. I'd never even thought of that.
Like, not, I don't think that you have to like the characters have to have a love interest to be
Well,
interesting.
yeah, yeah,
Like, and honestly, you know, it's not distracting that like
Mhm.
Hulk doesn't necessarily have a love interest. Well, there was Natasha
Yeah,
for like a
yeah.
a
That's,
couple of movies, but uh yeah, like it I would have liked to see something
yeah,
happen with them, but
yeah.
yeah,
I
she
think
kind of disappeared with Edward Norton.
yeah, which I mean, they could have always brought her back or even just recast her. But I think
Yeah,
now that you said that, I think it would have been interesting to have a a Betty in the MCU. Not
yeah, and I think
necessarily,
they went for that with uh they went for kind of the love interest thing with him
yeah,
and Natasha, but
yeah. Hmm.
I think a lot of people there was a lot of backlash from that. I remember there being
Really,
like nobody wanted them to get together.
really. Well, that was
Did I liked it. I mean, I thought that they were actually pretty good
I was
together.
fine with it.
Honestly, yeah.
I think they set that up from the very first Avengers
They
movie.
ain't no Steve and Peggy though.
You're right. For me, okay, I would probably give the Incredible Hulk probably I would give it a C. I think what saves the movie is
See,
yeah. In my opinion, I think what saves the movie is having Abomination as a really good villain. Now, character development of that villain is a different subject, but the fight scene at the climax of it, really good. The design of the Hulk, really good. Um, the story wasn't that bad, honestly. It was your typical kind of Bruce Banner trying to get rid of the Hulk kind of,
yeah,
situation. So
pretty classic.
so I see. I would give it a C.
All right, I'll compromise. I'll give it a C.
All right. Okay. Let's see.
There's three. We'll probably have to speed this up, or we can make it a two-parter or something.
oh my! Oh, you're right. We got a lot more to go.
22 movies, man.
All right. Here's one for you. I think okay. Thor: The Dark World. Yep. I think we both agree on what that movie ranking is going to be. E
or F.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Definitely an F.
F may be a little harsh. Definitely F. I'll go F. I'll go F.
Out of the 22 MCU movies, Thor: The Dark World is the weakest one of them all.
You think so?
And yes,
yeah. It's definitely my top 3 worst.
Yeah, I didn't care too much. But the situation was, it's like when you first see these movies, you're like, oh man, this is amazing. But the more you watch it, the more you're kind of like, I don't like this. What is going on with it? What's going on here? So
yeah,
I didn't care too much. The villain was not that great. The only cool thing about the movie was the fact that it brought in an Infinity Stone. And at the time you didn't even know
I mean,
that's
was
what that was.
Cool. It was the first time I think they ever said the name. If that may be wrong on that, but I remember going through a book and he said something about there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, I don't think during the movie they referenced it as the Infinity Stones, but I think at the end of Dark World in the post credit, Lady Sif,
right. The collector.
And I think they mentioned it then. But yeah, F.
Yeah, Malekith honestly is probably the most forgettable villain in the MCU.
Yeah, you're right.
Off the top of my head, that may change mentioning another one, but yeah, all around. I mean, there were some decent twists, like the Loki thing.
Yeah.
That was interesting, but honestly, other than that, the movie's not memorable. The third act is boring. Like honestly,
the fight was like it just wasn't that great. It just wasn't that great.
Yeah, me and Dana went through and watched all of them in order, and we got through that one. And I was like, honestly, I'm getting kind of bored with this. Yeah. Like it felt like a total drag.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'll give that's an F.
F. All right, we agree. We agree. All right, so I'm kind of okay. So here's one: Guardians of the Galaxy Volume
1. When I saw this movie, I loved it. And I don't know. I guess it was such a big leap for Marvel
Oh yeah, it
at the
was.
time. I remember when the trailers came out, and honestly, this is another one. I had no idea who the Guardians of the
Oh
Galaxy
no,
were
yeah, I didn't either.
beforehand. Um, Totally like obscure source material. I mean, I growing up. I mean, I always loved comic books and superheroes and stuff, but I
Yeah,
wasn't like an avid reader. So, I mean, I definitely with a lot of these movies have had to like do some research
oh
beforehand
yeah,
because I mean I'm interested in in the lore. It's just that I didn't grow up reading a bunch of comics. So,
yeah.
but yeah, like for sure. Um, I love the music. The tone of the movie is
Oh
great.
yeah, it was
Um,
fantastic.
uh, Pretty good comedy. Jokes are good. Um, Maybe the Ronan as a villain. Uh, he could have been so much more. I
Yeah.
think. Um, he was a little one dimensional. Like, oh, I just want power. Power is all I crave, and that was basically
Well,
his
it
character.
also isn't. I think I could be wrong. I don't know much about the Ronin character, but I think Ronin is more of a Fantastic Four villain than a Guardians of the Galaxy villain. Because the times that I've
Maybe
seen,
I can't.
yeah, the times that I've seen Ronin, he has probably gone more up against the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
But I
I
could be
could see
wrong.
that.
Yeah, but again, I could be wrong about that one. But where would you rank Guardians of the Galaxy?
Um, for me, honestly, I would say like a B.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, for me, honestly, I probably like. No, I don't want to. I don't want to spoil our future. Uh, our future answers, but I think I would rank both of the Guardians of the Galaxies on the same pedestal. I think,
Really?
yeah, for me. Now both movies have great moments,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, each movie I think has some faults for sure.
Right.
What do you think?
If we're ranking both volumes, then I would put them both on the same level. I would probably put them
Yeah,
both around a B plus.
B plus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because a lot of it too is because both Guardians of the Galaxy movies are the music is fantastic.
yeah, for sure.
The first one was just like you said, it was out there. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy are basically like kind of the B tier of the Avengers.
Yeah, and they're
And
not even like
yeah, they're not even
they're not heroes.
no,
They're
not
they're
at
not
all.
good guys by
Yeah,
any
that's
means. They're
yeah,
they're kind of anti-heroes almost,
yeah,
and they own that, but they say I don't want innocent people to be caught up in things that we can prevent. And
right,
I think that's cool about them. They're not,
right.
they're thieves and daughters of evil
Yeah,
titans. And,
yep, yep. And
uh,
it was just
you know,
yeah, yeah, like yeah for Ronan, um, wasn't that great of a villain.
yeah,
It was pretty cool to see Thanos in that movie.
dude. I remember being so hyped seeing like Thanos. Even I mean, we got the tease at the end of Avengers
Oh yeah,
One, but
yeah, we
this was
did.
like so much better. A lot
Yeah,
of people had problems like with his like physical appearance. I love.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah,
I thought it was what he would look like.
I do think they improved upon it like with Infinity War, but I mean he looked super sick. Like I
Yeah,
remember being like, oh, and then his little smile he gives like as he's floating off of
Uh,
his chair,
um,
his famous chair.
um, I'm just gonna go ahead and then I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about Guardians Volume 2, since I'm basically putting them on, and you can talk about Guardians 2 if you want, but like since
Yeah.
they're both on the same level, Guardians 2 was good. Ego the Living Planet as a villain was really good. The whole plot twist at the end where he killed Star-Lord's mother,
Oh
I was like,
man,
oh man, that
I
was
I felt that with
yeah, it
like
was crazy.
Star-Lord. The
I
and
was,
I love that moment because is literally the split second he tells him that, he comes out of
oh, I know,
whatever
yes.
he's in and just starts blasting away at him.
The
No
moment,
questions asked.
the moment he said that, I was pretty sure I was watching this movie in like probably like an almost full theater, and the moment that happened, everybody's just like is gasping and
Yeah,
just like, oh
same
my
here.
god, and it was crazy, it was crazy. But
And
Guardian,
then
yeah,
uh the probably honestly for me one of the most emotional moments in the MCU was when I can't
Yondu,
think of his name. I'm totally blanking. Yeah, Yondu. It's his
yeah,
plate.
yeah,
Yondu, you know, his death
oh yeah, yeah.
was pretty tough,
I'm
especially with him
I'm Mary
like
Poppins. I think with that movie, I think the most, I could be wrong about this, but the most underrated interaction. Well, no, I don't think it's underrated, but I think the most interesting interaction in Guardians 2 is between Drax and Mantis. Because the
yeah.
dialogue that they have with each other and the jokes that Drax plays on Mantis is really funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
No,
hilarious.
I agree with that.
So I love it. But yeah, I think we both can agree that they're both on the same level. So
Yeah.
so we're just gonna group those two movies in together. All right. So what about, let me find it. Let me find it. I saw it somewhere. What about Captain America, the first Avenger?
First Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
Um I love it.
Yep.
I'll say that. I'm trying to think of where I would rank it. Um I don't want to throw a bunch of movies in B, but I definitely don't think it's an A.
Right.
But it might be a B for me, honestly.
Fair.
Again,
Fair.
um, I think the 40s stuff we get to see with Captain America, like it was so cool. I remember seeing like his classic outfit, and they kind of use it as a joke. Like
Yeah.
he's doing these cereals for the war,
Yeah. He did the war
trying to get people to
bonds
buy
and things.
bonds.
Yeah.
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 Um, I thought that was such a cool way to like to like have that Easter egg of his
Yeah.
classic outfit in there. But then I do think like as a movie, it was pretty interesting. There's it gets a little blockbustery at times, but
Yeah.
um the plot's pretty predictable.
Yeah. Now I will
But
say this. I think this movie, I think this movie, Thor and Iron Man should have came out one after the other.
yeah,
I think Iron Man should have been first, then Captain America, and then unless you wanted to really play on the whole first Avenger, then you could have. But again, you didn't know you had a star like Chris Evans in the waiting. Um,
yeah,
but I think the more I think about it, I would have rather had maybe the first Avenger before Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I agree with
But that's just me.
that.
I don't know why I feel like that, but I just feel like it would have been better for it to come out.
I think it probably would have like flowed a little
Yeah,
better.
because I feel like
Movie to movie.
yeah. I would give it a B2. Uh,
Yeah,
I love Chris Evans as Captain America. Like you hear people talk about it all the time about how there's people built or people made for these perfect iconic roles,
exactly. Yeah,
and he is no matter where he goes in life, obviously, he'll always be remembered as Captain America.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
the same with Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Even Chris Hemsworth as Thor. You know, that's what
Yeah,
you'll be remembered by that.
honestly, yeah, for
There
sure.
are several people in the MCU who matches the comic book counterparts so well
Yeah,
that they somehow
not
Marvel
just
has made it work.
yeah, not just like in appearance, but like they nail the personality. Like
Yeah,
especially like Chris Evans with Steve. Like I feel like he almost perfectly embodies, you know, the
yeah,
the Captain America from the comics.
you're right.
Same with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean he literally is Iron Man in real life.
Oh yeah, he
Um,
is. He is. Um,
but
love
yeah,
it. It's good. It's a good movie. It's a good solid B for me.
yeah,
Um, all right. The first Avengers movie.
the first Avengers.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're getting in the good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, man, I want to say A for Avengers.
See, I
Um,
do too. I have no problem with saying A for Avengers because it's
A, yeah.
when it
I think I'm gonna save the creme de la creme for S, like the best of the
oh
best.
I
I
have
think because
yeah.
I definitely have some S's in mind.
Oh,
So
I do
yeah, I'm
too.
gonna say
Oh, I
A
do.
for
Yeah, I
A
do
for
too.
Avengers.
I do too.
As far as like, I mean, it keeps you hooked
Yep.
from the moment that
It's
you walk
funny.
in to the moment you leave.
Yep.
It's funny,
The
you
first
know.
time seeing them assemble is
Oh
is
man, that's
incredible.
like one of the most. I mean, I can already tell like 20, 30 years from now, that's still going to
Oh
be like
yeah.
one of the most
Oh, I could, yeah.
iconic moments in movie history
30
for
years from now,
sure.
you can sit down and watch that exact same scene again, and you still get the exact same feeling.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
Clint and Dylan went and saw that movie at least 6 times. I saw it maybe at least twice.
I No, I'm pretty sure I saw it at least 3 or 4 times for sure.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it was just that
it was
good.
great.
It was great.
Um, yeah, I mean, just a great movie all around. I mean, I don't think we could have, especially for the time period. Like we
Yeah.
had just really gotten into the MCU. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we could have asked for a better Avengers movie, honestly. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it was
it was
it
great.
was yeah, near perfect,
Oh yeah,
honestly.
definitely a solid A we
Yeah.
both can agree. All right. What about Thor?
Thor, the first Thor.
Yeah.
Um I I honestly have to say I love Thor, the first
Okay. Yeah.
Thor. Um I've heard complaints about it, but I don't agree with them. Like I think it's great. I'm gonna lump it in with I'm gonna give it a B for
Really?
Captain America. Yeah, here I go giving B's again. But um, yeah, I think that obviously they've kind of strayed away from the serious Thor we get in the first couple movies.
Mm,
But honestly, I see that more as character development. Like he's been through so much,
mm,
and he's lived his whole life pretty much on Asgard. I mean, I'm sure they've
yeah.
traveled, other places and fought. But you know, I feel like him joining the Avengers and going on all these adventures and things changed him, you know, as a character. And that's clear, I think, in Ragnarok.
Oh yeah.
But I do love the family ties that like it sets up in Thor, like how strong his family bonds are, even so much as like it's so sad to like you feel so much for Loki. Like his family does love him, but of course he's gonna feel like the odd one out because he's not Asgardian, you know.
Yeah.
And when that moment when he finds that out, you feel for him for sure. But yeah, I mean I love the bonds that it shows, like between Odin and Freya, like his mom.
Yeah.
Like those are definitely some of the strongest points in the show. I mean, the show movie. The I don't know, the supporting actors, the supporting characters, like Sif and the other, you know, Guardians. I'm blanking on some names right now, but they're kind of fall to the side. Like they're not as memorable to me. Right. The Frost Giants, pretty boring to be honest.
See, that's why. So I would probably give it a C.
Yeah,
because I have never been that high. I have never really been much of a Thor character. I've always been much more.
Me either.
See, and that's the thing. Like it, I love Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Like Thor is a pretty decent movie. It's not bad, but it's not that great either.
Yeah.
But it just felt like it just I don't know. It just didn't feel that good. I enjoyed watching it, but it's not a movie I would want to watch again.
I mean, I remember when Thor came out, I was like, I don't know. I felt like as far as like comic book movies, we had been like indoctrinated with like all the Batman movies.
Oh yeah.
And even some of the early MCU, I feel like was all very grounded in reality. And at the time, I was definitely a lot more closed-minded as to what like I wanted in a superhero movie. And I was like, I remember when Thor was coming out, I was like, are they seriously gonna like include magic in the MCU? I was like, they're really gonna make it like this unrealistic and have magic and, you know, gods. And so I was like, this sounds lame. I'm not excited for it.
Right.
And I remember just like not liking Thor, but man, you know, that's I saw Thor, and I mean, I really enjoyed it at the time, and I think over time I've enjoyed the movie a lot more. I didn't appreciate it as much then, but I do appreciate it a lot more now. Just to see like the character development of Thor. But yeah,
that's fair.
I can say C.
Okay,
I can agree with you and say C on that one.
It's not a bad movie.
It's not bad,
but it's not a movie that I would go out of my way to watch. If Avengers is on and Thor is on, I'm gonna watch the Avengers.
Of course, yeah.
So it just is what it is. So a good C, a high C. I'll say that. Speaking of magic, what about Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange.
I personally would give it an S tier ranking.
S.
Really? I was
gonna say A. But
Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange he's
another one of those where like
he's another one of those people that just the iconic look. what we saw that movie together, and we talked about how it's
Yeah.
like watching a movie on acid, and
Oh
just
man,
because it was just
the first
crazy.
sequence when
Yes.
when the Ancient One is like, "Wake up." And
Yeah. Yeah.
he's just flying through all these different dimensions,
Yes.
like just completely tripping out.
Just from
It's man,
a visual aspect, Doctor Strange is one of Marvel's best visually impressive movies.
for
I
sure.
thought the
The people who,
story, yeah.
yeah,
I
the
thought the
people who
story
did
was
the
great.
graphics for that
Oh
movie
yeah. Yeah.
need some kind of award.
Yeah. Uh the storyline was good. The character development was really good in this movie. It only got better in the other Avengers movies.
Mhm.
Um, and then the villain, the villain was fine.
Another,
He was a
yeah,
throwaway villain. Obviously, you had Baron Mordo and Dormammu, and then you had Caecilius. Caecilius was just a little throwaway villain.
Yeah, he's another one of those. He's like, here we go, another MCU villain.
Yeah,
We're not going to
yeah,
remember or care about. He's, just a threat in this movie,
yeah,
and he's gone.
yeah.
And honestly, yeah, I do have to say he's very forgettable.
Mhm.
Honestly, I was a lot more interested to see what would happen between Doctor Strange and Dormammu. And it was like the
Yeah,
whole time, that's all I could think about in the movie is like, oh, what's going to happen when they meet?
yeah.
What's going to,
Not even
and
that, but also between I enjoyed the relationship between Doctor Strange and Baron Mordo.
for sure,
I
yeah.
thought that
And
was really that was more interesting than the Caecilius villain, because
yeah,
eventually they're gonna become enemies, and so I was like so interested in that aspect of the film, just because see, okay, what causes Mordo turn into a villain, and,
I
and
mean, it's
obviously,
cool to see, like, he's so like, he, I think he's so shaken up by the fact that the Ancient One has basically lied to him
yeah,
for so long, and like this is like his life. Like
yeah,
I mean, honestly, it's like a religion to them. Like they're so, it's so like such a big part of him and his person, like his identity, I think.
yeah.
And so when he finds out that she has been, drawing from the dark dimension, I think that's what really sets him off. And he's like, well, why have I been doing my whole life is a lie? Like,
Exactly. So I'm giving it I'm giving it an S tier ranking because I think it's that great
yeah,
of a movie.
yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I can give it an S, just because
You do you do you.
it's it's great. It's great, but
And
I don't know. That may change. I may change my mind. We'll see.
because plus the only reason another reason why I'm giving it an S tier rank is because I knew nothing about Doctor Strange whatsoever. Now I knew. Let me rephrase it. I knew a little bit based on like video games and then
Yeah.
cartoons and things like that, but I was never really engaged with Doctor Strange until this movie
Mm-hmm.
came out and brought in that aspect of magic and the Sorcerer Supreme, and then Benedict Cumberbatch sold me on it because I seen him in like other stuff. He was in Sherlock, the BBC Sherlock Holmes series.
Such a
And
great
it
series.
is a great series.
I love that series.
And so I'm a hardcore Doctor Strange fan now because of that
Yeah.
movie, and he it's one of my favorite superheroes. And because then when we'll
Yeah,
get to this movie,
for
but
sure.
you'll see him in Infinity War go against Thanos with an Infinity Gauntlet, and
That's
he
man,
holds his own, and that's
one of the coolest
yes,
fight scenes
oh yeah,
in the MCU.
one of the best. I love it.
I remember seeing that and I was like, oh, Thanos is about to get his
Oh,
crab
hey,
locked up.
listen,
Like
man, Thanos had what? He had at least 3 Infinity Stones for him at the time. No, he had
yeah.
no. Wait, did he? He had the power. He had the soul.
I think he had all but
He had all but the mind and
but
He had three of
Mind
them.
and Time.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah,
He had three. He had three of them.
Mind and Time, because he gives time.
Yeah,
Because Strange gives him time
yeah.
after they defeat him, or
Um,
he defeats them.
yeah. So yeah, S tier ranking for me, A for you. I'm okay with that. I have no issue with
Yeah,
that.
I'll even say A plus.
Okay,
for
that's
sure.
fair. That's fair. All right, Black Panther.
Oh, I'm gonna rank it with Doctor Strange. I feel like it as far as like like it was just as enjoyable to me, honestly. It's such a great movie. Such a great movie.
I would give it an A ranking as well. I thought it was
A plus for me. Like
it's really good. I know a lot of people didn't think it was good, but like honestly, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good film. Another one of Marvel's best visually stunning films, especially because you have the different cultures within Wakanda, and you see how each of them interact and how they look, and it was just an amazing thing.
one of
Yeah.
the best villains in a
Oh
Marvel
yes,
movie.
man, Michael B.
Oh man,
Jordan as
Killmonger was
Killmonger.
great.
Oh yeah. See, that's what I was talking about. Like going into Phase 3, their villains are a lot better. I think
Yes,
Marvel
they
learned to,
heard the criticism.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now I'll even say Ultron is actually a pretty good villain, but
I liked Ultron. A lot of people bag on him,
I
but
have my reasons why I like Ultron, but we'll get to that
yeah,
in a second. But yeah, Black Panther, I would give it I would give it an A, a good A.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
all right, what about Spider-Man: Homecoming?
Oh man, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Now, see, some of these movies that are left, I feel like I know where they're kind of going to get grouped into.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Um, I'm probably gonna say A for it,
Yep.
honestly. Um, I don't want to give it an S just because I do have
There are some
some
things with
personal
it.
complaints.
Yeah, there are some
Personal
issues.
complaints. I I feel like not that Marvel is not that the MCU is like known for sticking hardcore to the source material,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like this version of Spider-Man is a lot more in line with the Ultimate comics,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which I don't like as much
Really?
than the mainstream Amazing Spider-Man. Like I don't know, like I guess just because I grew up with Spider-Man and I
Yeah.
grew up with I mean he's always been my favorite
Mm-hmm.
superhero by far, uh for sure. And I feel like I don't know, for me it's almost essential to have Harry and like, you know, I feel like, they took they Ned's great. I like Ned.
Mm-hmm.
Um he's basically Yankee from Ultimate Spider-Man,
Yeah.
but um I mean, I feel like yeah, there were some changes. As far as Tom Holland though, my favorite Spider-Man by far. Um
Yeah. And
yeah, I mean,
that was the thing too when it was like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire was a better Peter Parker, and Andrew
yes,
Garfield was a better Spider-Man. But
better
Tom
Spider-Man for
Holland,
sure. Is like the
yeah,
perfect.
he has it's the perfect blend. You get a good Peter
Yeah.
Parker and a good Spider-Man.
I mean, I
Um,
remember in Civil War, yeah, of course. I mean, I was already hyped,
oh man,
like
yeah,
nobody's business for Spider-Man, but that entire third, like, I
that
guess
whole
it's like more the
airport
middle.
scene,
It's the
he
middle
was
of the
just
movie, the airport scene.
yeah, he was just
I was
hilarious.
all I could think of the whole time, like, and I almost like got emotional because I'm like, this is literally Spider-Man. This is like
Oh yeah,
what I wanted to see. Like, this is my childhood because I always grew up like mean, yeah, I grew up on like Tobey Maguire, and I can't tell you how many times I've watched the original Spider-Man
Oh yeah,
movies.
I agree.
Minus the third one. I don't think I watched it as much, but like I remember, playing games. There was that one PS1 game.
Oh
The
yeah.
You ever play that one?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I remember it.
But I mean, like, I feel like he, especially in Civil War, nails the character.
Oh yeah,
nails the character.
Yeah, he was so funny in that movie, and when I did we see that one together?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I remember us watching with everybody else in the theater, and everybody's just laughing at Tom Holland's Spider-Man because he was just so funny in that movie, and it was just, and not only that, it also introduced Black Panther, who was also a very good.
Oh yes,
yeah, that was really good introducing both
Black
those
Panther's
characters.
whole introduction is fantastic.
Oh yeah, it was great. It saved the whole hero origin story too. Same with Spider-Man. It got rid of. I think Marvel got better as the movies went along of getting rid of these hero origin stories by if you could just introduce them into like another movie. That saves you a lot of time, and you can just drop them in the. I would give Homecoming. I want to give it a B plus. I think it's a good movie. I think it's a good movie. I enjoy it. The Vulture is another one of Marvel's better villains.
Fantastic, yeah. He's one of the best Marvel villains for sure.
I'll give it a B plus.
All right. Well, if we're talking Homecoming, why don't we just go right into
Far From Home? Far From Home. I would say Far From Home is better than Homecoming. A lot of people don't agree with that. A lot of people don't like Far From Home as much, but I would give it an A tier ranking because Vulture's a good villain, but Mysterio was better. Jake Gyllenhaal did such an amazing job.
The whole sequence.
Oh man, it was just like straight out of the comics with Mysterio. It was,
and I really like how they approached his illusions.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like I've definitely seen complaints like, oh, why'd they have to take the VR, like the virtual reality? Like, I feel like that makes the most sense.
Oh
like,
yeah.
With modern technology, like it's actually almost plausible, like for something like that to be a real thing.
Yep.
Like, so.
And then you also add in like the henchmen of Mysterio were all people planted out throughout the different Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, oh, look, Marvel doing it again. They keeping it all connected. You had the one guy from the very first Iron Man in this movie. And I was like, this is crazy.
The one that Obadiah is like
yelling at. Yep.
Tony Stark built this in a game with a bunch of scraps.
Yeah, and so it's the visuals for this movie are great. Mysterio alone did it. You wouldn't need another villain in this movie. Mysterio's just fine by himself. And you knew he was the villain too from the very get-go.
Oh, of course. I mean,
it was
when they said Mysterio was in the movie.
Yeah,
he's never not been a villain.
But it was only like a matter of time of when he was going to become the villain, and it was just.
And I was like, I remember, I expected a twist or a reveal, but I didn't. The movie almost leads you to believe that, hey, maybe he is genuine. Maybe he is from another Earth. Like, I wonder what's going to happen in him to make him turn.
Yeah.
To make him, do something bad, like do something evil. Like, and then, of course, the bar scene when he.
Oh, that was crazy.
Oh man, I remember it, and I was like, "Oh, there it is. There it is."
That was crazy.
I was like, "Oh, we're in for a treat, boys."
Yeah. I would give it Far From Home. I'll give it an A.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that
fair enough?
I love it. All right, let me see how many. Let's see. We've done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We've done 13. Not bad.
13
Yeah.
out of.
I think it's 23 actually. Yeah, there's 23. So we have 10 more. But we could just save that for another one, or we could probably save that for
You
another.
wanna you
Yeah.
wanna do our WandaVision predictions?
Uh, yeah, we got time. We'll break this. We'll do this. We'll come back with the second half of this
Yeah.
top 20 of all the Marvel movies ranked for next week. But all right. So what do you think is going to happen? And so Friday is the season 1 finale of WandaVision.
Yeah.
A lot of different theories are going on right now. What do you think is gonna? What do you think is gonna happen? What are your predictions?
Well, first things first. There's several storylines that they have to tie up,
True.
and I'm interested to see how they're going to tie them all up in one episode. Like I know it. I read that it's supposed to be the longest episode, but like it's a little bit more out there. But one, who's the missing person that Wu is searching for?
Okay.
That was who he was sent there to find.
Mm-hmm.
In Westview was this missing person that we haven't heard anything about, like past like the third episode. Which it may have been just like a reason to get him there.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, it is interesting. Let's see. Well, I'm gonna go kind of out of order.
That's fine. That's fine.
Another. There's something up with that rabbit. His name is Senior Scratchy,
Which is like a
yeah. In the comics, I think Agatha has a son named Nicholas Scratch. Is that right?
I think so.
I'm trying to remember this right. And then also, Old Scratch is like a name for the devil, which some people are saying that that might be Mephisto, like kind of transmarking, like as a rabbit, and that he's going to reveal himself in the last episode. I don't know. We'll see about that. I think Agatha is definitely answering to someone. I think that's how she got her power. I think she draws her power from some kind of dark force or entity, probably from that book that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it could be Mephisto, it could be Nightmare. We'll see. I think
that's where I'm leaning. See, everybody thinks it's Mephisto. I'm not so sure. Because I feel like because WandaVision is going to tie in with Multiverse of Madness, and Nightmare is the villain for that movie. It would, at least to me, it would make sense that this would be Nightmare.
Yeah.
You kind of switch the story a little bit. You go from Mephisto to Nightmare instead.
Yeah.
But it could be Mephisto. It would be really. I don't know why you would bring in because Mephisto is probably not going to be your phase 4 villain.
Yeah.
So
I mean, as far as because Mephisto's definitely
because if you're going to bring in Mephisto, but if you're going to bring in Mephisto, that would in a TV show like WandaVision, then you better be ready to set him up as the overall villain to a certain point.
That's the thing, though. I definitely think that. I mean, I'm like hard set. Like Agatha is answering to someone. Her power comes from something higher than herself, for sure. I think that that's going to get revealed probably either like in an end credit scene,
Yeah,
at the end of the show, or sometime toward the end of the show. And I think that that's going to be setting up whoever the main villain will be in Doctor Strange.
There are theories that so before I get to this, an interesting thing, if you go, I don't know if this is a flashback or what it is, but there's a theory going around that you've probably seen it by now, but that director Hayward is actually Ultron. And if you go to the casting list for WandaVision, James Spader is voicing Ultron in this series.
What?
So a lot of people think this is taken out of comics because the White Vision is essentially Ultron's perfect body. It has no human emotion to it. It's a complete machine. And James Spader is the director. Hayward is Ultron disguised as director Hayward. I don't know how realistic that is, but I do know looking at the cast list, James Spader is voicing Ultron. I don't know if it's a flashback or how that's going to work. So that's interesting to see.
I've not heard that.
Yeah,
I have heard that Ultron. I mean, I didn't know that he was like definitely on the cast list, but I've heard that he might voice White Vision. That would be sick. That would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that potentially could it be. And then another theory is because there's supposed to be a big surprise character coming. That who let's see, the guy who plays Vision,
Paul Bettany.
Yeah, he said he's always wanted to work with this character. There's one theory is it's Magneto, which honestly that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why.
No, I don't understand. I don't think they'll go that big.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of these theories. I've even seen somebody say Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Like
it's gonna be the Peter Parker. It's gonna be the Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3. He's gonna come through a portal and dance. Exactly what's gonna happen. Yeah, exactly.
I think honestly, the most realistic thing. I mean, I've seen that Paul Bettany may have just been talking about himself because he's going to be going like there's two visions they're going to be going against. But I think the most realistic thing will probably be Doctor Strange.
See, that's what I'm thinking.
Because this is supposed to be setting up that movie.
Yeah,
I think that would make the most sense. That's why I said that whoever Agatha is answering to, because Agatha's not the big bad. She's never been like a big bad.
No. I think a lot of people realize
that whoever she's answering to is going to be the villain of Doctor Strange 2.
Right.
And this will set that up. Hayward, I don't know about him. I mean, obviously he's in it for himself.
Right.
But they want Vision because he's going to be like this ultimate sentient weapon.
Yeah.
But I don't know what his intentions are like outside of that. I don't know if he's really just all about, I don't know that he's evil.
He's very prejudiced towards people with powers or to superheroes, which, if you think about it, it's the same way people would feel against those who are mutants.
Yeah.
Even though they're doing good, you still kind of don't like them. And so that's what's interesting about WandaVision is that this is going off topic for the prediction, but it was just interesting seeing that Wanda already had powers.
Which means that they could be trying to set up mutants.
WandaVision theoretically could be retconning Age of Ultron. In a sense of like, because in Age of Ultron, or at the post credit scene for Winter Soldier, they show Wanda and Pietro, and Strucker talks about this as an age of miracles. But keep in mind, at the time they couldn't say mutants because that was still owned by Fox. So this theoretically,
you're right.
This could be retconning that whole situation and I don't see that. But the issue with that is like, what about Pietro? Like,
well, I mean, not even just him. Where have all the other mutants been this whole time? Surely they haven't been in hiding. You can't hide
millions of people with powers.
Exactly. Yeah. And then also, like, say that the mutant gene comes as a result of this.
Or what if the mutant gene has always been there, but Wanda's powers activate the mutant gene?
Yeah, I mean,
that's one main theory that I'm seeing also, is where like the dome that Wanda creates kind of erupts and sends out that cosmic that energy out throughout probably not just the planet, but like the universe, and it activates the mutant gene. But I don't know.
No, and that goes in line with what I was going to say. If that's the case, how are they going to bring in characters like
exactly,
like Magneto and Professor X, who have had their powers since the 40s?
Yeah,
well, they're not going to be that old.
Yeah, I think the X-Men are probably much more up to date than what they did.
Still, those characters have always been older, or like Wolverine, who's been alive for who knows how long.
Well, theoretically, Wolverine could have always been there. He's one character you could probably just set aside and like, well, he's always been there. You just haven't seen him.
Yeah.
But everybody else, everybody else, I see what you're saying.
But I mean, going back to mutants, like, surely, I mean, there's no way they could have been in hiding. I mean, it's different than Wakanda. Like, this isn't like a single country.
Right.
This is millions of people scattered all over the globe. Like, there's no way to hide that.
Right.
So I'm really interested to see when mutants come into the play, like how they're going to handle it.
Right.
I do think we're going to get some kind of hint towards where that's going to go at the end of Wandavision for sure.
So to get ready to wrap this up, I think Vision's going to die again.
Yeah. I think she's going to have to know how to let go. Because I think after...
I think the twins will stay alive. Billy and what's the other kid's name? Billy and
Tommy.
I think somehow they will stay alive, because I know Kevin Feige has mentioned that they are going to be relevant in future films. So I think.
Well, see, that Billy and Tommy are technically pieces of Mephisto's soul.
Yeah. Right.
So that's kind of interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, but I
don't know if they're going to go that route.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think they'll be all right. I think something will happen and they'll get. I don't know. That's the tough part about trying to figure out what's going to happen. Is like, I don't know what happens to them.
Well, see, but you think about when Vision tried to leave, because she created Vision in the Hex. She created Billy and Tommy in the Hex. When Vision tried to leave, he started, getting falling apart, dying, and getting sucked back into the Hex. So how are they going to come out?
But then again,
are they going to come out? I don't know.
Wanda is a Scarlet Witch, and she can literally do whatever she wants. So she can create whatever she wants, and if she learns how to control that power, it's something. But I do think Agatha, I hope they don't kill her, because I would love to see her again. Honestly,
I honestly, I don't think that she's all evil.
No.
Something about her in the way she was acting in the last episode makes it seem like there's a purpose.
She wants something. That's why she's trying to figure out how Wanda's doing it, because I think there's something that
Mm-hmm.
she wants.
And I was thinking in her Salem witch trial, that was pretty cool, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
My first thought was, wow, she's like legit super evil.
Yeah.
But then again, I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, they were all like trying to kill her. all she did was retaliate, really.
It's true.
I mean, they were trying to like just suck the life out of her.
Fair.
All she did was basically reverse it back onto them.
It's true.
I mean, it was a little intense to kill your own mom, but I mean, she was trying to kill her. So.
It is what it is.
But I mean, I think that the reason that they were doing that is that because she was drawing on dark magic, and I think it probably goes back to that book, because they did, like, when they cut to that book, which I think is called The Darkhold.
Yeah, it was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
which is
I don't know, but if there is a book missing in Doctor Strange's Sanctuary Sanctorum, and it might be that book. I think it might be that book. So, but that, I don't know. It's interesting. I just don't hope she dies. I would love to see her come back in some capacity. I think the actress who's playing her is doing did a fantastic job. She's great.
Yeah, I hope they've gotten better at it, but I hope that from now on, like, Marvel does their best at trying, like, not to kill off good villains.
Yeah.
At least not in the same movie. Like, keep them around for a little bit longer. I mean, look at how successful Loki's been.
Oh yeah, like, he's been all throughout the MCU. So I think, and I'm very excited to see this new Scarlet Witch outfit too, that she's more likely going to get. I think it's gonna be pretty cool.
They kind of teased that with her little vision.
I'm excited for that. I'm ready for that. But yeah, I just think, Vision's gonna die. If something happens to the twins, then I think that will, make Wanda snap. If I had to guess who's the mystery character coming, it could. See, I don't know. That's the thing. Like, who could it potentially be? That's because I'm trying to think of, like, who he's worked with, because they were all together for, like, Infinity War. So he's worked with some of these actors already, but he's talked about how this is a person he's never worked with before, but he's always.
I heard that. I'm trying to think. There was some actor that's supposed to be, like, joining the MCU. I think it's. No, I'm thinking Christian Bale, but I think he's joining the new Thor movie.
Yeah. He's the villain in the new Thor movie.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know, but well, we'll have to find out Friday what all goes down, and
I'm gonna say. Look, you can say Nightmare. I'm gonna say Mephisto.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll see.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. And we will be back with. I think what we'll do is we'll finish up our rankings, and then we'll do a season 1 review of Wandavision and talk about everything about Wandavision. That's what I think we'll do. That will be the plan. So, but other than that, I think we're going to call it, boys and girls. We got through half the list. I didn't think it would. Yeah. So half is better than not half. But thank you guys for joining us. And Jimmy, I will catch you on the flip side. And you guys have a great night or evening or whenever you're watching this. And we'll see you guys later.